Hey there, I miss you guys. I heard my last video and I realized how poor the sound quality was, so I decided to use one of my studio microphones for this. So hopefully you guys noticed an improvement, and I apologize that it sounded so bad before. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about Korea, a little sidebar in our studies about East Asia. It's a great and fantastic story though, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's get started. So we're going to start, of course, with geography because you know that is one of my very favorite things. So we need to find Korea. And hopefully your eyes are going to the peninsula that we see in the east, which is northwest of China, or excuse me, Japan. So we see I've circled it right here. That is Korea, and that's where we're going to be focusing on today and the next couple days. All right, so here are just some images of what we would see if we went to Korea. You notice lots of greens, very beautiful. You'll notice also mountains, definitely lots of mountains and valleys. Gorgeous though, huh? All right, so Korea is a peninsula. So we know that we have to review a peninsula means it's land mostly surrounded by water. Land mostly surrounded by water. 3 sides for Korea. And we're going to see that the majority of Korea is mountainous, particularly in North Korea, which is going to be problematic for them with farming. South Korea is warm, wet, whereas the North Korea is colder. The split between Koreas happened after the Korean conflict in the 1950s. Prior to that, it was a unified peninsula, although when we do our studies, we'll see that there have been several kingdoms there fighting. And when you looked at your maps, you saw the same. We're going to have the monsoons, of course, affecting the geography. So let's think about this question here. How would Korea's geography affect its history and its people? So let's think, well, looks like they're going to have difficulties finding some farmland, particularly in the north. We have the idea that it might be difficult for invasions to come from the north, although we see that there will be some. All right. We just see some of the major rivers of Korea. It's giving you an image of what each of them look like. Now, with the location of Korea, and I have it in our modern map there with the arrow pointing to it, we're going to find that Korea is going to be a bridge to China and Japan. We sing about that in our song, Korea, a Bridge. And we're going to see that China is going to have a huge influence on Korea, but also Japan as well. We're going to see that the Japanese are going to be influenced by China through Korea. So Korea is 100% being a bridge of cultural diffusion. Now, and one of the things that we're going to see in these studies that Korea will have an interesting relationship with China, where China will often dominate, then Korea will have independence, then there'll be alliances with China, then there'll be wars with China. It's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. All right, so we have a primary source here, which is pretty sweet. The old record notes that in olden times, Hoen's son, Hoang, wished to descend from heaven and live in the world of human beings. Knowing his son's desire, Hoen surveyed the 3 highest mountains and found Mount Tavik the most suitable place for his son to settle and help human beings. Leading the Earl of Wind, the Master of Rain, and the Master of Clouds, he, Hoang, took charge of some 360 areas of responsibility, including agriculture, allotted lifespans, illness, punishment, and good and evil, and brought culture to his people. I love this story. At that time, a bear and a tiger living in the same cave prayed to the holy Hoang and transformed them into human beings. Then King gave them a bundle of sacred mugworts and 20 cloves of garlic and said, "If you eat these and shun the sunlight for 100 days, you will assume human form." Both animals ate the spices and avoided the sun. After 21 days, the bear became a woman. But the tiger, unable to observe the taboo, remained a tiger. Unable to find a husband, the bear woman prayed under the altar tree for a child. Hwang metamorphized himself to lay with her and begat a son named Tangun Wongom. So we have this here, and we see this is going to be an account of the origin. It's a pretty cool way of describing how people came to be, I think. So now, what I love there, what do the 360 areas of responsibility represent? What else is 360? I'm thinking degrees, a circle, the idea of completeness, full. He had full responsibility. It's a pretty cool myth. And this kind of goes into what we have for the indigenous religion of Korea. We have shamanism. Now, shamanism is this idea that people could communicate with spirits. And of course, if you could communicate with the spirit, you are known as a shaman. What's cool about Korean shamanism is that it was not sexist. There are many women who were shamans. And the idea was they could connect you with the spirits. So, for example, if you had something ailing you, you were sad or sick, it might be actually a spirit causing it. So the shaman would go communicate with the spirits to try to mediate and solve the spiritual issue to help you with your physical issue. That's pretty neat, right? So, the 3 kingdoms of Korea, and actually there really are 4, but we don't talk about the Kaya very much. So yes, there are 4 on the map. We have Goryeo, Baekje, Shilla, and Kaya, but the Kaya is kind of sorry to anybody who really likes Kaya. So we got Goryeo, Baekje, Shilla, and like I said, we have Kaya. Now, one of the things you are going to notice with this is you're going to see multiple spellings of all of these. So let's look at Goryeo right here. You see Goryeo and right next to it, Goryeo. And you'll find that the K and G's are often interchangeable. With Baekje, you'll often see that P actually a B. And it's the same idea that the P and B's are interchangeable. Now, we're going to see that Goryeo is going to spread the Chinese culture, and we're going to see that they're going to wind up copying a lot from China. So I always start with China in this unit, because they're kind of be the foundation for Korea, Japan, and Southeast Asia later on. We're going to see some beautiful cave art, and they'll eventually be conquered. Oh, man. I was going to blow your mind and integrate right into a cool video. I'll have to find that and add it later on. Too bad. I was going to show you some of the cool cave art. So for Baekje, they're going to go and have a lot of interactions with Japan, lots and lots of trade. We're going through these quickly. Don't worry, I'm not going to be testing you on some of the specificities of these cultures. So Kaya, sometimes you see it at Gaia. They're just going to be a small collection. They only last less than 500 years. It's like 490 something. Now, the Sila, they're going to become pretty powerful because they're going to lie with the Tang. We're going to see that power is going to go back and forth through these. One of the things that's going to be important with them is they are going to really spread Buddhism during this time period. And one of the cool things trying to be a Buddhist state was giving land to the farmers, going and setting up the irrigation, doing trade, really trying to help out the people as opposed to just the aristocrats. Another similarity that you'll see to China here is that they utilize civil service examinations. So, let's just make sure you're following along here. Here's a nice handy dandy chart to summarize everything right here. What you have to know about these 3 kingdom periods is that Buddhism is going to be very important, and we're going to see beautiful arts and culture. Let's go look at some sweet pictures. We see some architecture. We can see that it was definitely influenced by China. We can see the similarities. All right, we are going to end here. I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. It's always good to spend time with you, even if it's virtually. I'm thinking about all of you. Feel free to like and subscribe because it does boost the channel and help it so more people can get some great history stuff. This is Mr. Kenny. I'm signing off. Have a great day. Bye.